this segment, we'll be looking at some of the support documents that you will be drafting along with the drafting of the patent application. So you finish the patent application, and then there's a number of documents that actually need to be filed alongside the filing of that patent application. I would remind you, first off, that within the non-provisional filing of the patent application checklist, it will clearly indicate which forms are needed and which documents you actually need to fill out. Now, I've two things I want to bring to your attention. First off, within the textbook itself, I've indicated some information relating to everything from the ADS to the oath to some of the forms, and I've reproduced some of the forms within the textbook as well. There's two things that, again, that I would indicate to you. First off, after my live lecture right now, I will have a video that actually will show you some of, it will walk you through how to put together an ADS. Now I have a note here, because I don't want to forget it, that in that video in particular, it is doing that from the point of view of a pro se type applicant or an inventor who is preparing the ADS him or herself. That is not the case here. So you will notice that, for example, when they're going through and talking about the contact information, it may show the inventor's personal contact information. We don't have to do that. We have a customer number by which all of our clients are related to. And we can just simply put in the customer number and it will automatically be associated with our clinic. So there still is a video yet to come that will kind of walk you through one example of how to fill it out. I think one of the clearest ways of doing this is to actually see an example of something that actually has already been filed. And so from that point of view, there are a number of applications on AppCall, and you can look under the document as filed section subfolder, the application subfolder, that will include all the documents that were actually prepared and filed. And if you need some examples for that, there are a number, again, of them that are actually within AppCall. Let me give you a few that potentially you can look at that will allow you to get kind of a basis for understanding what it is that actually should be submitted. So I'm logging into AppCall right now. And once you're in AppCall, you can go to the File module. So under Files, this is where all the files that are associated with our clinic are actually found. And if you went down under the Files module, make sure that you're under the folder top, and this will give you access to everything that is within the everything that is saved within the clinic itself. If you went to, verifying right now, under the client folder, PRIR-P0001, that will give you one example as to some of the documents that were filed beforehand. You have an oath, you have a power of attorney, you have the figures, you have the application, and you have the ADS. If you want another folder that you can look at to kind of get a sense as to, again, what is going on here, I would recommend also taking a look at under M, so that's M as in Mary, ATG-P0001 application subfolder. This is Gerald Matson's matter, and you'll notice that under there, in like manner, there's the ADS, the application, the drawings, the fee worksheet, the IDS, the micro entity status, the new transmittal, the oath, and the power of attorney. In short, everything is there under that folder. And when you work on an application, this is exactly how it should look like. Everything should be complete and proper within the application subfolder later on as well. So in short, go ahead and take a look at each of these forms, look at the video that accompanies or that follows after this lecture. But in addition, I want you to take a look at some of these forms that are contained within AppCall. Make sure you do not modify them, but you can look at them as far as examples that what needs to be filled out when you're actually going through this process as well.
We're going to look at the application datasheet. that's ADS for short, and how to fill it out if you're a pro se inventor. Then we'll look at the SP01A declaration that we use when we use an application data sheet. These two forms are meant to work together to cover your declaration and all of the bibliographic data for your application. To start, I download both forms from the USPTO website forms page. The URL is in the notes section. The ADS actually includes instructions on how to fill it out, but I wanted to do this video to give you something shorter to work with. The ADS is one of several machine-read forms from the Patent Office, which means that the data you enter into the form is going to go directly into their system, as if you were entering it into a web form. When you fill it out and save it, you just save it as is, so that the PTO system can read it. You don't want to do a print, scan, save, or print to PDF. The first question, will any part of this application be subject to a secrecy order? No, so I leave this blank. In the applicant information section, first, what type of applicant are you? Inventor, legal representative, party of interest? I'm an inventor, so I check that. Then it's my prefix, first, middle, last, and suffix. Residence information. Notice that they ask for your city, state, and country of residence. Then they ask for citizenship. Then they ask for your mailing address. So they want to know your citizenship, where you're currently living, and where to send you mail. You can add another applicant by hitting the Add button here. All of the information is the same. Correspondence information. Separate from all the information they just asked for, they want to know the address to send official correspondence to. This is the address they are actually going to use when they send you a filing receipt or any other communication regarding your application status. The default is for a customer number, which is for people who have accounts with the USPTO EFS system. Just check this box and the address fields will appear. In this case, the correspondence address is the same as the inventor information, so I put that in. Application information. Here is where you're going to put the information in about the application. Title of invention, attorney docket number, not necessary here. Small entity status. Unless you're a huge corporation, check this. Being a small entity cuts most of the fees by half. Application type. Is this a provisional or non-provisional? Select non-provisional because that's what we're submitting. Subject matter. There are 3 different types of subject matter for patents. Utility, design, and plant. Select utility. For these questions, suggested class, subclass, and technology, I'm going to leave them blank and let the Patent Office decide where to classify things. Number of drawing sheets, you can fill this out. Remember, this is the number of pages of drawings, not the number of figures. And finally, suggested figure. So if you know which figure you want to go on the cover page of your application, you can specify it. Publication information. I'm not going to check either of these. I do not want early publication, and I definitely do not want my application not to publish. Representative information, I'm going to leave this blank. Domestic benefit national stage information. This is where you put in the information about connected applications. For example, if you filed a provisional application, you can add that data here. Let's say that I do have a PPA pending that I will claim priority to. The way to add it is first select from the prior application status pending. Skip this application number. That is only used if you are filling out an application data sheet for an application that's already filed. Continuity type, select non-provisional of, then enter the provisional application number here and filing date. As with many of these forms, they want the filing date year, month, day. I have no foreign applications to worry about. One note, I always change this priority claim question to no because that seems correct. Assignee information. This is optional and I'm going to leave it blank. If you are assigning your intellectual property to someone else or to an entity, you can record that information here and then it will be listed on the patent application cover page. You will still need to transfer that intellectual property and make a recordation of the transfer with the Office of Assignment Recordation. Signature. In the lower section, they want first and last name. This should match the name on the correspondence address. This is an S-sign form. Put simply, an S signature is your name typed between 2 forward slashes. That seems pretty simple, and it is. There are some rules governing S signatures. I've included a discussion of those rules in the notes, just so that you know there is more to it than just forward slashes. And we save it, and we're set. And on to the SP01A. One of the important parts of any patent application is your declaration. This is where you declare ownership of the invention as put forth in the claims. The SB01A Inventor Declaration is fairly short because all of the information is already in the application datasheet. Up top, fill out the title. Make sure it matches what's on your application and application datasheet. My application will be attached, so I check here. If I had filled out the application before and I needed to file the declaration now, I would add the application data there. I go down to the bottom and there are room for 2 inventors. Take note to add citizenship. You can also S-sign this document. With this document I can save as is, but I think I'm going to print to PDF. And now my application datasheet and declaration are all set for submission. Thanks.